Welcome back to On Points, Lecomte edition. Ed DeRosa alongside James Scully. And James, we still have about a month more of the 10-point races, but with this week break last week, this sort of feels like, in earnest, the next step on the road to the Kentucky Derby.
It does, and it's really exciting at the fairgrounds because we have a full field of 14 going to be going to the gate for the first of 3 Kentucky Derby preps there at fairgrounds, the Lecomte Stakes at 1 mile and 70 yards.
Yep, and I know everyone excited down there. They've had some success getting fillies on the Oaks Trail and winning the Oaks. Long overdue for some Derby success with the fairgrounds races. And in this one, going to need to see a horse step up, though, to be honest. None of the 14 in the main body, or the 15 for that matter, are in my top 10 right now.
Yeah, I've only got one in my top 10. He's ranked number 8th, plus Parfait. He ran second in the Kentucky Jockey Club.
Yep, and that horse is the morning line favorite here. But as you and I discussed before we got into the race, I actually think War of Will go favorite in the Lecomte.
I agree. Really a lot of turf class there, and that maiden win on a sloppy track at Churchill Downs was so impressive that Mark Cassey, I do think he'll be the slight favorite post time.
Yeah, very impressive. Also won someone a few $100,000, if I recall correctly, as it capped that single 6 on the penultimate day of the meet. And not for me, though. The turf breeding, I'm going to trust the barn. Only ran on turf, then caught the sloppy track, and at a short price in this large of a field, I'm against him here.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, that fast track, his ability to handle a fast track is in doubt, and at a short price, he's the type that I'm more than willing to take a chance against.
Yeah, good Brisnet speed rating, but I'm going to need to see it again at a relatively short price, given the size of the field, and I'm against the morning line favorite as well. Feel like last time was the time if you wanted a price, and 9-2, no bargain against 13 others.
Well, I will say this about him, though. I'm a little bit like, I think Plus Parfait could have the right run style. We saw in that race in the Kentucky Jockey Club, he was 8th going into the turn, almost 4 lengths back. He closed to be 3rd by a half length by the top of the stretch. And I just think, last time he was in post 4, I didn't think he was that comfortable early on with the kickback. On Saturday, Leperoux is going to be able to keep him outside. He's going to definitely drop off the pace and could have clear sailing for his late run.
Yeah, and late run important, and early run factor for me, because I do like 2 horses, but they have shown speed and they're on the outside. Tight 10 and Manny Wide probably like a lot more if A, maybe a little less speed in here, or B, better drawn. They get the double whammy. I like both, but I am concerned about the pace situation and the post.
Yeah, and I think if Tight 10 had drawn inside, we might have a little bit of a different pace scenario where he just is going to burst out there. I think he has to be in front, and I think the other horses to his inside might have been more willing to just drop behind him and settle. But with Malpay, Mr. Money, and War of Will all inside him in the starting gate, as well as Manny Wall out there, I think there's a real potential. And a lot of those horses are the top, contenders. A potential for a hot pace that does set the race up for somebody from off of it.
Yeah, no question. For me, off the pace, not as deep a closer as Plus Parfait perhaps, but I do like the West Virginia bred Tackett, maybe to sit mid-pack, and he is ideally drawn on the inside. Won't really have to make a move until absolutely needed for trainer Michael Stidham. I think he fits. Will need to improve, but gets the mile in 70 yards, and I think the pace will be enough for him that if he doesn't move too early, might be the one hanging around late and keeps running.
Yeah, definitely a nice effort last time from the Tackett, the West Virginia bred, like you said. The 2 horses that I'll look at, I do give Plus Parfait a slight edge, but I'm going to look at Royland as a horse to use in any multi-race tickets. Tom Amos, I really like that win 2 starts back from him. I thought that was a really salty allowance race on the opening week of Churchill Fall Meet. And then Hog Creek Hustle. Even though he's got to go 2 turns in this spot, I think that that win 2 starts back at 7 furlongs was a perfect prototype of the kind of trip he needs. And I don't know about him going much longer in distance, but 1 mile and 70 yards might be within his grasp.
Yeah, and that to me is an interesting sort of subplot of this race. Obviously, we're all thinking Derby with the points on the line and kickoff to the Louisiana Derby, but really for some of these, Royland's successful appeal, even my pick Tackett, Limehouse out of a Macho Uno mare, it would seem like 1.25 miles for any of these would be pushing it. So this is really the spot for them to get
Right.
some graded stakes earnings and see where they stand. But yeah, I would be concerned with most of these stretching out the next time.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw last year too. Snapper Sinclair ran a couple of real big races early in these points races in Louisiana. He won ran second in the Risen Star. He's more like a miler, like sprint type. So yeah, the shorter distance, a mile 70 yards, definitely is in the favor of these horses that don't want to go longer this spring.
All right, well, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that this race does cap the $100,000 all graded stakes. Pick 4 at Fairgrounds, part of a graded stakes slate throughout the day there Saturday. You'll be there live, but who are you structuring your ticket that you want to be live to most ideally? 14-horse field usually helps the exotics.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be alive to Plus Que Parfait, ideally. I'm also, like I said before, I want to have those late runners, Rowan and Hog Creek Hustle, in my ticket. I do see like Leora, it's a big race for her in that Silver Bullet Day, the race before the Lecomte. If she's going to be a viable single on a lot of tickets, and if she wins, then theoretically I might even be a couple other ones I might spread as well with like some horses like Mr. Money. We really haven't talked about Mr. Money. He ran a good 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's got that form line that I think it's going to be really interesting to see if he can run back to that race.
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of people will be looking for a single earlier in the sequence because there are definitely some price options in this race. And last year we had a big upset. I forget the name of Cassie's filly who got beat at a short price, but we did have an upset earlier, and then Instilled Regard capped a pretty good pick 4 payout. So Fairgrounds, definitely the place to be this weekend for wagering, and you're lucky enough to be there live.
Yes, I'll be down there for this weekend. I'm excited to be down there.
All right, well, we'll look forward to yours and Joe Kay's reports from there. This has been On Points.